proud. And Michelle, put your hands together for those two young people. My brothers and sisters, those who are walking around now would realize Moruga Tableland constituency is not an easy constituency. It is a microcosm of Trinidad and Tobago. The diversity is there in religion, in ethnicity, in everything. And we have to thank our political leader, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, for that vision of keeping people together. And she is going to do it, and Moruga Tableland will be back in government. My brothers and sisters, our political leader and the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, she has what you call the Midas touch. Whatever she touches turns into something valuable. But the opposite of the Midas touch, they just spell the word otherwise. They say the Sadim touch. Whatever that person touches is a blight, and that is the present. I don't know. But there is also, and those reporters, you can research it, there is also the Murphy's touch. They say, you know, with Murphy's law, what is to go wrong will go wrong. But the Murphy's touch, whatever you touch turns into gobar. And I'm wondering, but you know, today, I'm not going to talk about what we did when we were in government. I mean, we were a paradise. People just believed they would have gotten more on the other side. Today they come and they say, oh God, Brother Koto, we're sorry. Tell Tanti Kamla, we want she back. We want back Kamla. We want back Kamla. My brothers and sisters, sometimes I wonder, I was sharing with young Senator Obika, someday when we went up to George Village, I say, you know something about this PNM. I wonder if Trinidadians and their supporters are under what they call PSS, the political Stockholm syndrome. They beat you, they brutalize you, and then when your tongue is coming out of your head, they put a little drip of water on it, and it's, oh, my savior. And that is exactly what they are doing to us in Trinidad and Tobago right now. We have a treasury full of, but listen, Finance Chairman, oh, the end of this year is going to be better. So they're starving you until you're ready to die, and then they're going to let go the money, and they'll say, you know, the man run the country good enough because Kamla and them, they thief the money, and they see, he get austerity measures. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. But my brothers and sisters, you know, today I witnessed the greatest piece of political absolution. The greatest piece of political absolution. This man put on his clothes, his priest clothes, and he sanitized everybody. He promote this one here, promote the other one here. But my brothers and sisters, great is the UNC, great is Kamla Persad-Bissessar, and we are going to go back into government. Thank you.
Now, the Vice Chair talk about the Midas touch, but in the PNM, it has something called the Darrell touch. In the United National Congress, we love our women, we embrace our women, we protect our women, we do not harass our women. Now I'm going to bring on the platform. He is no stranger to the region. He is well known in Trinidad and Tobago. He is well known in the Caribbean region. He's a retired county superintendent from the local government ministry. He's currently the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board. He's a director on the West Indies Cricket Board, and he is now an alderman in the Princestown Regional Corporation. Give it up for Alderman Azim Bassarat.
Thank you very much, Mr. Master of Ceremonies. Political Leader of the United National Congress, Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar, members of NATEC, senators, members of parliament, councillors, coordinators of the Moruga Tableland constituency, Mr. Randy Ramadharsingh, and Ms. Dr. Curleen Sookoo. Ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you all to all UNC faithful to the beautiful constituency of Moruga Tableland. It is so good to see so many of you here this evening as the United National Congress continues to mobilize for its return to governance in Trinidad and Tobago. Special greetings go out to our political leader, Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar, who is on her way here, I'm sure, and we all look forward to another inspirational address from the best Prime Minister this nation has ever seen. The theme tonight, ladies and gentlemen, of this meeting is marrying fresh ideas with solid experience. And those two components are a winning combination which is designed to take the nation out of the status of a failed state which Trinidad and Tobago has become in the space of just 30 months. Brothers and sisters, natural talent abounds throughout the length and breadth of the land in all sports, even right here in Moruga Tableland, where participation and enthusiasm is high for football, cricket, basketball, and netball. And it is a well-known fact that rural districts like Moruga Tableland have historically over the years produced scores of sportsmen and sportswomen who have gone on to excel on the regional and international stage. So it is important for grassroots programs to be introduced with an emphasis on the community, which leads to a strengthening of communal bonds, creates profitable economic activity, ignites passion and pride, and offers an alternative lifestyle to our young people away from the lure of undesirable activities. It was a platform that was created by the UNC administration under Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar, who recognized the role sport played in the development of the nation. And every effort was made to provide a platform for the young, talented young people to reach their fullest potential. The visionary leadership of the political leader, a keen tennis player herself, I understand, established a clear link between the aspirations of the youth and economic development in the short and long term. This formed an important element in the move to diversify the economy and set the stage for an alternate source of revenue for the country through sports tourism. So immediately after coming into office, the UNC launched plans to create world-class facilities to nurture its talent at home, as well as to act as a magnet for overseas sports teams and individuals to train right here in Trinidad and Tobago. The investment in the construction of the tennis center in Tacarigua, the indoor cycling velodrome, and the adjacent aquatic center in Balmain, Vancouver,
here with us. We have Dr. Rai Ragbir, who is a member of NATEX. We have Chairman Henry Awong, and we have Senator Haynes that joined us shortly. So, Murga Tableland, welcome these powerhouses. It is my pleasure to introduce the next speaker. I had the opportunity to work with Ms. Dr. Karleen Sookoo. Her list of credentials is as long as from Roshar Douglas to Kanhai. I'm telling you, a well-qualified person. Our leader only chooses the best to serve. Dr. Karleen Sookoo is a former advisor in the Ministry of Gender, Youth, and Child Development, as well as advisor in the Ministry of National Diversity and Social Integration. Both ministries were formed under the UNC government, something the PNM never did. Dr. Karleen Sookoo is appointed an ambassador in the United Nations at large. She's also a member of NATEX, and she is working here with us in Murga Tableland to get this seat back to the United National Congress, where we will return Kamla Persad-Bissessar as the next leader.
Leader of the opposition, or political leader, the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, and all the members of the UNC family and friends, let me hear you! Thank you, members of the constituency of Murga Tableland, for being here in your numbers tonight. Are you UNC and proud? Are you UNC and proud? Tonight, I want to recognize members from every part of the largest constituency by way of its geographical space, 684 square miles. I acknowledge members from the community of Glad Road, from Tableland, from Gulchan Trace, Laloon, Sulchan, Grand Chamer, St. Mary's Village, and all of Murga, from the company villages, from Kunjal, Kumuto, Lengwa, Oraput South, and those that I haven't mentioned, welcome. Could the nation see? Come on, somebody. Let the nation hear your voices. I bring greetings from the National Executive of the United National Congress. My name is Dr. Karleen Sookoo, and I'm presently the research officer. I have worked and have been acquainted with the Murga Tableland and have worked with the former MP Clifton Dikoto as a technical advisor in 2012. I have worked with most of you over the years, and it has been a pleasure. I've been appointed as one of the coordinators to work with and for the people of Murga Tableland. Before I proceed further, I want to thank the Honorable Leader of the Opposition, and could we say the next Prime Minister, our political leader, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, for this wonderful opportunity. In your presence here, in your numbers, is a testimony of the stewardship of the wonderful and hardworking councillors and aldermen and activists. Could we give it up for them? I've had the pleasure to work with the United National Congress, and I can clearly say that we are serving well. Could somebody lift their hands? Come on. Let me ask you a question. Has the PNM failed you miserably in Murga Tableland? Has the UNC been good to you? The UNC is the alternative government that is ready to rescue the country at a... Can I hear shouting for victory for the United National Congress? The political leader, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, has the experience, the political savvy, the vision, and the plan to make this country a knowledge-driven, a computer-literate, and a socially empowered, prosperous nation. Maruga Tableland can bring together the love that this country needs, the love that exists between our African and Indian brothers and sisters of all colors of the rainbow. The UNC is the alternative government and stands ready to rescue the country at a moment's notice and embraces all red, all yellow, all black, all white. The people are precious in their sight. My brothers and sisters, tonight is the beginning of a brand new awakening in this rural community that was prone to constant flooding. Under the People's Partnership and their remedial works, this area of the constituency can boast no more at that time of flooding after the paving and construction of drains between 2010 and 2015. Do not listen. Do not listen. Do not listen to negative voices and persons with very shallow memories. They will say the UNC has done nothing for us. I worked with the former MP Clifton Dakota as his technical advisor, and I know that one Kanai South Road resident and being angry because enough was not done caused a stirring up in what we call couture in this community. Could somebody lift their hands and say, no more couture? My brothers and sisters, enough said about that. Let us not be Nimakaram. The constituency was one of the neglected constituencies under the former administration. Years of neglect, deterioration, where Maruga Tableland was aptly called the landslip capital. There were approximately 253 landslips. There was a baby landslip. There was a mother landslip. There was a father landslip. There was an uncle landslip. There was a family of landslips. The former P&M administration allowed the whole family to go through. But let me take you back a little bit to memory lane under the People's Partnership. Those slippages were under control. The UNC-led administration stabilized 93 of those landslips. 93 of those landslips were repaired. Could somebody give it up for the United National Congress? My brothers and sisters, when you stabilize a landslip, you concentrate on paving roads. Doesn't that make sense? That is what and they continue to do. You are aware of the deterioration of Maruga Tableland. That didn't take place overnight. Thanks to the vindictive P&M administration. But your PP administration, your UNC administration assured you that as a government, we are here and we are working for you. We continue to care for the people. So I ask you again, has the P&M failed you miserably in Maruga Tableland? Has the UNC been good to you? My brothers and sisters, education is the key. When we educate we children, we educate the nation. Ain't it so? I say to you that the political leader, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, has the experience, has the political savvy, has the vision, has the plan to make this country a knowledge-driven first world nation. My brothers and sisters, the UNC didn't only build schools, stabilize landslips. The UNC built centers in Marak, Hindustan, refurbished Laloon. the UNC built the Maruga police what? What they build? And when I give you the signal, I want you to say lights. Everybody say lights. I say lights. Out of 18 grounds in 2010, 9 was illuminated. So here you're going now. Marak have, Laloon have, Pina Rock have, Gomez Trace have, Mandingo have, St. Croix have, Kunjal have, Makaway have. My brothers and sisters in the constituency, we had, according to NAMDEFCO statistics, we have 205 bona fide farms. I want all to tell the country, who is the pineapple capital of Trinidad and Tobago? Who's the of this nation? And watch me. As your coordinator tonight, I bring a messenger of hope to you. I say to you, you have been bitten by the PNM once, you have been bitten twice, you have been loved by the UNC and treated as a community. Today I say we will win. 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 I feel like move any mountain, I trample any building.
That is the power, that is the performance, and that is the intelligence that we have in the United National Congress. Are you fed up of Faris Al-Rawi? Are you fed up of Stuart Young? Are you fed up of Darrell Smith? Are you fed up of Keith Rowley? So are we ready for Kamla Persad-Bissessar to be Prime Minister again? And our leader, she chooses the brightest of the bright. And the next person that I'm going to bring on the microphone, if I have to read out his CV for you, it will take all night. So I'll just like to highlight a few of his accolades. He holds a Bachelor of Science in Physics. He has a Master's of Philosophy in Medical Physics and Bioengineering. He's a PhD student in Energy Studies. He's an international consultant on renewable energy. He was the former head of physics and worked for the Queen of England. But now he is here to work for our Queen, Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Give it up for Randy Ramadharsingh.
Good afternoon all, good evening. Honorable political leader of the United National Congress, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, SC MP, UNC family and friends. Good evening, Maruga Tableland. I am so happy to see you here in your numbers. All this past week from walkabouts in Cats Hill, breaking the borders of the glorious pineapple fields of George Village, across into Tableland, down into Lengua, traversing Indian Walk, down into the lush hills and valleys of Barrackpore, moving south into the Penal Rock Road, and continuing through the lush forests and plains of Maruga, stopping at Laloon, La Ruffin, and Marak. The sun has shone brilliantly as the soldiers of the UNC have been on the ground. The sun shone so brilliantly, it was almost as if heralding a new beginning for this area. It was so bright that we almost forgot the dark days after September 2015, when the lights were dimmed on us, when panic and anguish, hurt and despair ran through this beautiful and bountiful area. You see, we knew then, as we are sure now, that the beginning of the end had come to pass. The bitter harvest had begun. We knew then that crime would start to escalate, that children may very well go hungry, jobs would be lost, Gate would be limited and essential health and education deprived from us. But what we know is that our leaders did not abandon us. We know that our Member of Parliament, Clifton Dekoto, stood with us, stood strong with us, and was there for us. We also knew that our political leader, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, stood by us, guiding, counseling, leading, and continuing the fight. And our hope was renewed again when the local government election came around in 2016, despite this area being punished by a lack of resources, despite the agents of negativity and derision. We came together. We beat the PNM in the Maruga district, Councillor Joseph Laurent. We beat them in 5th Company, Councillor Rafi Mohammed. And we beat them in Hindustan St. Mary's with Councillor Michelle Benjamin, taking the seats and claiming the Princestown Regional Corporation under the excellent Chairman Gauri Rupnarayan here. That is the strength of a people, and that is the strength of Maruga Tableland. You see, our leader has said to us, go out there, meet the people, speak to the people, and serve the people. And only one leader in our land could have held 3 portfolios at the same time. First female Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Chairman of the CARICOM, and Chairman of the Commonwealth, all at the same time. And that is the leadership that we have in the United National Congress. It is undeniable that our leaders' stellar performances in Parliament have recently been nothing short of outstanding. In Parliament recently, her budget response, tens of thousands of people were locked on as she demolished the PNM. Braving floods herself, she went to every single area affected, personally delivering food and water, clothes to the vulnerable, and chose the people, not the morning shows. You see, for her, a child to go to bed hungry and thirsty on a wet bed or floor was unacceptable. She activated a disaster response plan, and every single councillor, MP, senator, activist was on the ground in Barrackpore, was on the ground in Pinal-Debe, in Siparia, in the east, in the north. Where there was flood, she went there with the people. When we say united, when we say national, and when we say Congress, the only person in this country who has the vision, the intelligence, and the qualifications to lead this country back to where we before is the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Soldiers of the United National Congress, tonight the political leader is sounding the battle call. She will lead the troops once more for a brighter tomorrow. And what we do now, we arm you with the knowledge, with the years of experience, and the bright sparks of new ideas. We arm you with the tools of compassion, integrity, and generosity. We arm you with the promise that with hope and unity, that we will once more make Maruga Tableland the brightest beacon on the
road because the allocation to a complete road in a district.
Battle call, hope and unity that we will once more make Maruga Tableland the brightest beacon on the failures in health, failures in bringing down the unemployment rate, failures in diversifying our economy, failures in providing inter-island sea transport, failures in fixing landslides in Maruga Tableland and in Naparima, failure to hold ministers accountable for major indiscretions, perhaps the worst we have experienced in our country. Failure to provide a compelling action plan to take our country forward. Failure, brothers and sisters, to keep the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago safe. Our country is experiencing unimaginable levels of criminality, and this government continues to ignore the cries of the citizens. This government allows criminals free rein to abuse our country and the hard-working, law-abiding citizens. Imagine our murder rate to date is 142 and climbing. They have continued to fail in protecting our national image abroad under the guidance of our Prime Minister's friend. And who is his friend? The Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, who is unaware about decisions taking place in his own ministry. He is like Sergeant Schultz in a TV program long ago. Sergeant Schultz used to hear nothing, he used to see nothing, he used to do nothing. Minister Moses is in charge, and we embarrass ourselves at the OAS on the Dominican's request for a waiver of fees. And all Moses could say was, I wasn't there. Nobody told me. I don't know. And today, ladies and gentlemen, Rowley shuffled the pack of jokers and kept his good friend, Dennis Moses. Everybody goes, but his partner, Moses, stays. Clearly, Rowley has not heard about the responsibility or ministerial responsibility, which under the Westminster system we inherited means that a minister is responsible for everything that goes on in his ministry. The buck stops with Moses and Keith Rowley, and for Keith Rowley to keep him shows clearly that Rowley only understands pavement diplomacy and not good parliamentary practice. Today also, Moses got up in Parliament and said that after the Dominican crisis, he spoke on the phone to his colleague in Dominica and apologized. Well, poor Moses. He does not know that at this level, what is required is a diplomatic note, not a phone call. For heaven's sake, we're not talking about a parlor or a roti shop. We're talking about the government of the people, the proud people of Trinidad and Tobago and of Maruga Tableland. But Rowley is demeaning the office. He did not see it fit to attend 3 annual General Assemblies of the United Nations. 2015, 2016, 2017. No doubt he will miss this year.
Unlike our political leader, Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar, who had the vision and the intelligence and the strength to interact frontally with her peers globally. Unlike Rowley, our leader, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, was globally respected in the international arena. I saw her in action at the UN. And as a little boy from South Trinidad, I was proud of my Prime Minister, Kamla Persad-Bissessar. And Dr. Rowley has the goal to tell me that I cannot speak to Marine Le Pen while I was at the UN. This not too bright Keith Rowley can never understand global diplomacy. You see, he's a geologist. He studied the ages of rocks. He needs to abide by the rock of ages. He is a practitioner of pavement diplomacy. So President Trump is carded to speak with President of North Korea, Kim Jong-un. According to the Rowley doctrine of diplomacy, they should never speak because you only speak to people you like. So in the company of 17 other UN ambassadors, I challenge Ms. Le Pen on her views on Islamophobia, on immigration, on ultranationalism, sitting in New York and talking to the lady and trying to put sense in her head. I serve my country and my people by so doing, and I will do it again, Rowley or no Rowley. Important global organizations such as the EU, that's the European Union, and the OECD have placed Trinidad on their blacklist based on reviews done after September 15. Look at it. We on blacklists all over the world. They don't want to deal with us. And Faris Alwari gets up in Parliament and say, you know why you're on the blacklist? Because the PP government did nothing. Well, that is not true. That is not true, because the period of review was in 2016 and 2017. And who was in power? Dr. Rowley. Who was not in power? Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Now, the EU wrote us last year, and the EU told us to give them a letter of commitment that we will, a high-level commitment that we will abide by their concerns. You know that we did not write the letter. They wrote us, they wrote Grenada, they wrote Barbados, they wrote Trinidad and Tobago, and they said, give us a high-level commitment that you will abide by or you'll take steps to deal with our concerns. Barbados wrote, Grenada wrote, but clueless Faris Alwari did not, and we remain today blacklisted by the EU and the OECD. The only areas of competence by this Keith Rowley administration are old talk, long-winded, nice-sounding sales talk, and blaming the PP government. Not hard work and performance. I will say it again. Under the PNM, the only growth industries are funeral homes and criminals. The only growth industries are funeral homes and crime. So what are the priorities of clueless Moses? Why is the strategic direction, where is the strategic direction that he was supposed to give to the ministry? Why, for example, set up an embassy in the United Arab Emirates when Guyana is on our doorsteps, on the verge of an oil boom that has never been witnessed in CARICOM or countries in this region, 500,000 barrels a day, and we do not have an embassy in Guyana? Why close down our embassy in Uganda, close to Ethiopia, Jah Rastafari, seat of the African Union, representing 54 countries? What policies are in place to deal with the reputed 40,000 Venezuelan refugees in our country? What is the status of the immigration detention center where you're housing these people? What policies are in place to combat human trafficking of Venezuelans in Trinidad? We have Venezuelans being treated like dogs under this government and being made to stay in inhuman conditions. We, all of us, will pay a price long after Rowley demits office for the inhuman treatment meted out to Venezuelans. But, what is the purpose of our Coast Guard in Cedros? If you visit Cedros, you see a base. Is that base for decoration? We have our fishermen and offshore workers fearful for their lives. And the only advice the Coast Guard could give them is we can't do nothing. This should be a national security priority. How, for heaven's sake, can Venezuelan naval vessels enter our waters and our Coast Guard so frightened that they know we're wrong? Could we ever enter Venezuelan waters, even if we chasing Venezuelans? So where's the Coast Guard? What are they doing? So Moses will lead us to the promised land of global excellence. The Prime Minister's defense: protect Moses, blame staff, attack me, come up with some unsigned, unconfirmed minutes. Does the Prime Minister not know that unsigned note written by someone is not evidence? There are no policies in place to make sense of what is taking place in our country. And here this quote in the Bible. It is Exodus 6:12. And I'm reading, but Lord, Moses objected. My own people won't listen to me. How can I expect Pharaoh to listen? I am such a clumsy speaker. That is what he said. Ladies and gentlemen, let us pause. We are in the presence of greatness. We are in the presence of our leader. Feel it in the air. They feel it in the firmament. Greatness is coming to us. First female Prime Minister. First female Attorney General. The first representative of South Trinidad to lead us to greatness. A leader who believed in giving us laptops and making us computer literate. She, ladies and gentlemen, will rescue us from the trials and tribulations of this Rowley-led administration. So let's enjoy our leader. our great leader. We cannot wait for you to come back into power to rescue us from trials and tribulations. But I've given you a quote from the Bible. And this is Moses talking. He said, but Lord, Moses objected, my own people wouldn't listen to me anymore. How can I expect Pharaoh to listen? I am such a clumsy speaker. Does that not sound like the Moses we know? So, ladies and gentlemen, the question of ministerial responsibility, I spoke about it, but in that concept, it is a constitutional convention that cabinet ministers bear ultimate responsibility for the action of their ministries. Even if a minister is unaware of misdeeds or behavior, he or she is responsible and answerable for every action in his ministry. The traditional example, according to authorities in the UK, of official ministerial responsibility was the Churchill Dung affair in 1954, when the Minister of Agriculture resigned despite the fact that all mistakes were made by civil servants without his knowledge. Clearly, this is not the case under this government. So tonight, I, Rodney Charles, MP for Naparima, want to say to Dr. Rowley, I want to be your friend. And ladies and gentlemen, I say this because once you are his friend like Moses, you can do no wrong. Be it scandals, be it missteps or global embarrassment, you will be well protected. But the UNC is ready. and more pain.
road because the allocation that we're getting, we cannot even do a complete road.
And you there to study whether you have money on your credit card because you're in the toilet hiding. That is the former Minister of Sport. You understand? He touching and tasting and we paying. You understand? You see, almost every month we are being assailed by the exploit of this former Minister of Sport. You know, it's from one thing to the other. It is okay if there are two consenting adults and the man dips his hand in his pocket. But when we have to pay for the good times, we can't pay for the man good time bill. So I am saying tonight that this Prime Minister has obviously run out of options. At least he understood that the good Randy Mitchell couldn't build a house. He put himself there. But that's for another time. You understand? Because the Prime Minister too has a record. Tonight we are talking about sexual harassment in the workplace. We have a lot of women here tonight, and we need to address it here tonight. The Prime Minister cannot take up Darrell Smith, who watching a man and seeing the skirt and talking about it fit. Darrell Smith is a stylist. So he cannot be so bold-faced to put in no Ministry of Housing, and we say we're taking that. We are not taking that. We are not taking that. Women, we are not taking that. Teach Rowley had daughters. He wants that if his daughters go into an office, Mr. Overfed, they're nicking him out. Will he like that? Who will protect our girls? We are not taking that. And I'm telling you, the time is coming for us to march. We are going to march to Miss Morrow because tonight she's there, she's sad, she's lonely, she's heartbroken because she went to work to mind her child, and a man licking lips and watch her, and because she spoke out and said, when he started to say, don't you think I'm sexy? She said, no. He vexed. You know, because this fella he hot more than he's sweet. You understand? I feel this guy, when he goes in front of the mirror, he has seen Darrell Smith, he's seen Black Panther. Something had to be wrong with this man. Something wrong in his head. You understand? So ladies, we are not taking that. Darrell Smith got to go. No more. Let him go. Your romping is over. You're romping on my dime. I can tell him that. So, with the Kamla, right, we had to produce in the interest of the people. Right? We were there working, not walking up. You understand? That's what we were there doing. You know? This government of sex lies and videotape, anime gate, notice. So, more than ever, we need a leader with vision. We need one with a plan. We need one with compassion. One whose policies create jobs. One who gives us hope. One who will look after vulnerable women. Wherever they are, their policies will. We will ensure that women could go to work and do what they have been sent to do. Right? There's me their dodging minister up and down the place. So Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar would have fired Darrell Smith. Right? Forthwith. Nope. She did not have to wait for any urging from any Express editorial. So tonight I'm telling Dr. Rowley, if we have fired Darrell Smith, we can fire you. We need to fire you. You need to get out of there. You're a waste of time. I'm telling you, tonight I urge you to let Kamla Persad-Bissessar be your bridge over troubled waters. All ye that are labor and heavy laden, I assure you that in the house of the rising sun, there are many mansions. And if it were not so, this picky-head girl from Sharpeville would have told you that it is not so. Brothers and sisters, let's keep working. Let's keep fighting for a brighter Trinidad and Tobago. Let's keep hope alive, brothers and sisters. We're marching. We're getting out Darrell Smith. Thank you.
Margaret Tableland, you heard a plain talker. No water in she mouth. She tell you as it is. She tell you the truth. Let me hear it for that truth talker. I tell all you, our leader choose the best in representation. Someone that will tell it as it is. Now I have the pleasure and the honor is mine tonight to introduce to you the next Prime Minister. Not a Prime Minister in waiting. The next Prime Minister. Because Margaret Tableland going to signal the change that is to come here tonight. And I am going to work tirelessly to make sure that is a reality. And I know that the soldiers here seated tonight is going to make that a reality. Let me hear you, Margaret Tableland, for the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, the mother of the nation.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Wow. Wow. Jelly John. Margaret Tableland. Tonight I know when the roll is called up yonder, Margaret Tableland will be there. So good night. Friends and family of the UNC, good night, Margaret Tableland. How are you feeling tonight? I am so happy to see the enthusiasm, the energy, your passion for your party. I can see you are ready. You are ready to take Margaret Tableland back into government. You are ready for the return of our great party into the corridors of power. Thank you very much. Thank you. And before we get into other issues, I want to pause for a moment for us to celebrate the life of two of our great soldiers. And that is our candidate in one of the seats for Toko Sandigrani as we mourn her passing, Amelia Ram, and also a stolyer and stalwart in the Barataria seat, Mr. Vishnu Ramota. May their souls rest in peace as they pass into the great beyond. And in life, there is death. But in life, there is celebration. And tonight, I thank them, honor them for their contributions to Trinidad and Tobago and to our very great party. And it is very ironic that today, when we are celebrating a woman who for the first time won gold in the Commonwealth Games for Trinidad and Tobago, we congratulate her, we thank her. So as we celebrate her glory for Trinidad and Tobago, we are now seeing the minister who mashed up our tourism industry moving to be where? Chamfer into where? Ministry of Sport. But we are great people. We are resilient people, and the people of Trinidad and Tobago will forever continue to shine. Michelle, congratulations on your goal. Congratulations on the behalf of our great party and Trinidad and Tobago. So what a week it has been. What a week and happenings and going-ons and shenanigans we have seen in this past week. There are some who have said, and I know, that the circus is in town. And we have to ask, who is advising the Prime Minister in town when the circus is in town? Is it Mickey Mouse? Today we saw the reshuffling of the jokers, the roamers, and the rompers. And it will change to nothing in this Mickey Mouse government under Keith Rowley. You know, it reminds me of a song by David Rudder. Perhaps we can take a few lines in. You know, they say whom the gods wish to destroy, they first make them mad. And what we witnessed with that reshuffle is what the song was saying, madness. Madness. As Jerlin has really graphically described what has happened in moving Darryl Smith from one ministry, promoting him, and don't fool yourself, you know, they say it's not a promotion. And their friends in the media, it's a demotion. They're saying, no, no, no. You have moved him from a ministry of a few $100 million to a ministry, what? Billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. And what is to happen for each day that he sits in the parliament, that he sits in the government? It's an insult to every mother, to every wife, and to every daughter, and to every man, father, brother who stands by our side. It is an insult. So, you know, there's a saying you can't be half pregnant. It's either you're pregnant or you are not. So you can't say slap him on the wrist, but you're keeping him in the government. Today, Keith Rowley has shown his total impotence. Total impotence. He has shown that he cannot take the hard decisions, and we have to ask why. Not just Kamla, not just the opposition is saying Darryl Smith must go from the government. All the talk shows, the newspapers, the editorials. But this Rowley is so out of touch with the reality of what is taking place on the ground. And so he keeps him there, and the question must arise, why is he protecting Darryl Smith? Why is Rowley shielding and protecting Darryl Smith? And I want to ask some questions tonight. I want to ask some questions. And these questions have to do with the Diego Martin Sports Complex. First of all, in that Diego Martin Sports Complex, I think the Minister Sports was whom? Darrell Smith. Building this, first we were told it costing $40 million. Now I'm being told it's $140 million, and it's not finished yet. So we have to wait to see the cost overruns on that project. And then I'm told that the company that got the contract, there's a small man in that contract. Small man in the firm got the contract. And that small man playing golf every day with the big man, Keith Rowley. So are they golfing partners? Is that true? And that may be okay. But we know there must be processes to do things. But I am told it was something called a sole select tender. Contractor was chosen by sole select tender. Now I read the law, you know. Under the CTB rules, Central Tenders Board, you can have sole select tendering, but it must be for something that company is the only one with expertise in that area. So if you want to buy bulletproof vests, for example, you will go to look for a company that has expertise in manufacturing bulletproof vests. And indeed, most of the sole select tendering is done when we deal with national security issues. Here we have a company, selective, only company selected, first for 40 million and 140 million. I am told, and I'm asking, is this a small man who plays golf with the Prime Minister? That's the question we need to ask. And then, you know what is the expertise of this particular company if you go up on their website? Box drains. Building box drain. That is their only experience and expertise. Being given is $40 to $140 million. Can it be that Darrell Smith holding goods on Rowley? Can it be that there is more in the mortar than the pestle at Diego Martin Sports Complex? And of course, many other things that Rowley is protecting Darrell Smith. I asked those questions tonight. And I asked the Prime Minister to come out and tell us, why is he afraid? Why will he not do the right, proper, honorable, decent thing and fire Darrell Smith from his government? Why? Why? What goods does he hold on the Prime Minister? And, you know, I have to ask you a question. I really have to ask you a question. Dr. Rowley last week, when they were interviewing him in the post-gam, made this great statement. He said, I have full confidence in all my ministers. I have full confidence, Rowley says, in all my ministers. Do you agree with Dr. Rowley? Do you have confidence in a Minister of National Security who was before a New York court on allegations of fraud? And in the end, we are told what? Sealed. Secret deal. We don't know. Secret deal. We don't know what happened in that matter. Is Edmund Dillon a fraudster or is he not a fraudster? We cannot say, because guess what? Sealed. It's like the non-disclosure agreement that was supposed to be in Darrell Smith's case. Well, Dr. Rowley has confidence in him. You know what's the murder numbers today? I heard Rowley, sorry, how can I make that mistake? I heard MP Rodney Charles say 142. Well, I'm told it's 145 to date for the year. Do you know how many days we have in the year so far? Anybody checking? About 100 days. 145 murders. And Rowley has confidence in Edmund Dillon. Do you have confidence in Edmund Dillon? Rowley also said, when he said confidence, he said, and if I don't, I will take away their portfolio. Well, he didn't. He just reshuffled and recycled. Politicians, scandal plagued the politicians. You all know the old say, reshuffle the jokers in the pack. Tonight I say, Dr. Rowley, we have no confidence in any of your ministers. I can spend time talking about each one we can go through. But you know, we have Rohan Sinanan. We can't get a boat yet. This man so backward or don't know what dotish. You know what he announced to get himself in the news? He said, I'm going to do an audit on the spirit. The man auditing himself, the same business he's minister of, going to run audit. Run an audit on the, what is it, the TG spirit? Run an audit. Do you have confidence in Ramadharsingh? Do you have confidence in Faris Alwari? If the reports are correct, the Attorney General may be involved in alleged conspiracy to cover up the whole Daryl Smith affair. How can we have an Attorney General who may be involved in a conspiracy to cover up public misconduct and public wrongdoing? And then we could talk about the taxman himself. I noticed the Prime Minister has taken up a new kind of language, or maybe he always did it, it's not going public. He liked to call people imp. I think he called Rodney Charles imps too, if I'm not mistaken. And poor Barry called Barry Padarat imps too. And this man is so not hands-on with what is happening in this country. When he's told about the allegations and the calls from the opposition and from MP Barry Padarat for Daryl Smith to go, you know what he said? Fix your grammar. Front page of the Express today, headline, Barry get buff. Because he was calling for the right thing. Rowley doesn't understand, he's out of touch. So he think by saying the grammar, well, Barry, that fella brave, eh? By this morning, he say, well, I have fixed my grammar, you go fix your government. Go fix your government. And up to today now, the shuffle and the reshuffle and the recycling and the cycling of the same faces and the same scandal-plagued ministers, it is very clear that he has not fixed his government. So he says he has all this confidence in his ministers. As I say, I can go through each one. I've shared with you some of it. But at the end of the day, the buck stops with whom? With the head of the cabinet, the Prime Minister Rowley. The buck stops with him. And if he has confidence in all his ministers, we say to him tonight, we have no confidence in Keith Rowley. No confidence in Keith Rowley. And here we are now with sexual harassment. And in the Parliament today, a question was asked of policy for dealing with sexual harassment in the workplace and so on. End of the line on the story and the old talk. Her answer was they have no policy. No policy with respect, but it's coming soon. 2.5 years later, everything is coming soon. I want to tell you, I am so outraged. As Jillian told you, and you know that when allegations were made of lesser evil, of lesser things, I was not afraid to take the hard decisions to call on my ministers to go. Because this is something we cannot condone. We all know, most working women know what it is like to be faced with some form of inappropriate sexual harassment in the workplace. As women, we know, working women know. As women going to educational institutions, we know. Don't hide your head. Me too. We know. And so something must be done about it, and it must be done now. And I want to tell you what I am doing. I am drafting a private members' bill to take to the Parliament to deal with the issue of sexual harassment in the workplace and at educational institutions. I will take it to the Parliament. Because when the Minister of Labour was asked today, that was not important. It will come. Not even law, because she promised us law 2.5 years now to deal with the labour issues in our country. Not one line has come. So I give you this assurance tonight. I will draft that bill. I will take it to Parliament and let the government be bold-faced and shameless enough not to support law against sexual harassment. All members of my government were mandated to keep up those standards, and when they did not, I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid. I asked Rowley again, what these fellas holding on you? What Daryl Smith holding, that when everybody's saying, move him, you just shift him. And it is worse where you've put him. Jillian said it. Many single mothers go for housing, don't they? What is going to happen? How can we trust Darrell Smith? How can any woman trust Darrell Smith to approach him? How can we do that? So tonight is a very dark day. Yes, he's moved him from sport, but then he's just shifted him up somewhere else. Numerous allegations. And these allegations against Darrell Smith are not today, you know. There have been allegations against him since he was in the corporation, Diego Martin Regional Corporation. We must remember Dr. Rowley replaced Amory Brown, Dr. Brown, to put Darrell Smith there as a candidate. And after that, we had the romping incident in Tobago. Jillian mentioned tonight other stories, more to come, you know, those things. The truth will always rise up. The truth. Will always set you free. And Cambridge Analytica. They come up to say that nobody in Trinidad could put something on Facebook. Well, I think almost everybody here, majority, you on Facebook long before me. You're on Facebook long time. And some of you right now on Facebook streaming this meeting live. True or not true? Right now this meeting is on Facebook. And where was the Prime Minister when all of this was happening in the past few weeks? He said he was in Tobago, he was watching crab race, he was playing cricket, and he was playing golf. In fact, the man actually said, you know what? They said the occupancy in the hotel was so low, but what? I was there. I was at the Magdalena. I was there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. He said it exactly like that. He said, I was there. He said, not as a guest of the hotel, but I was there on the grounds in the golfing. So this fella golfing for the whole Easter weekend. That's his answer to tell us about the occupancy hotel and so on. Back again, knows nothing, knows nothing about anything, and he's clearly incapable now of taking strong action. He cannot be bothered to do anything. He keeps passing the buck along. Blame Kamla, blame UNC, blame partnership, blame the police, blame there's several issues on crime. That is the single most important job of any government. Do you agree with that? Because I say if you're dead, the road, if you have house, if you have school, if you have bridge or water or food. Crime. Murders today, 145, 100 days. You cannot walk in the streets now, you can't go anywhere. It is a scary feeling. And you have this minister now, Moses, plus two other ministers dealing with national security. You know, I just want to share with you some of the things we did before I tell you what more we can do. Because I do believe one of the greatest challenges for our country today is the fight against crime. In June 2016, I called on the Prime Minister, let us meet to deal with anti-crime. I don't know if you'll recall that. June 2016, okay? Let's meet because the crime just continues to spiral. Then in August of that same year, I wrote again calling for an urgent meeting to discuss the country's crime problem. In my letter, I said to the Prime Minister, the life, limb, and property of every citizen is now imperiled as criminals are merciless in their rampage, even when it comes to snuffing out the lives of innocent children. I called then on Prime Minister Rowley to consider taking up the portfolio of national security because of the dismal results of his three ministers. Well, he had a chance again today to take it up. He said he chose what? Housing. And we'll have to ask why about that too. Huh? The facts will unfold. It will unfold. It will come to light. I called on him, look, take it up because, you know, this is the most important ministry and the most important issue. Eventually, we met in early September. At the meeting, we called on the government, put more boots on the ground to deter crime, to have proper enactment of legislation already passed in Parliament, such as the DNA Act, the Electronic Monitoring Act, all of which we had passed, to bring them into force. It was only today that the DNA regulations came up for debate in the Parliament. We also called on the government to fulfill their manifesto promise to set up a joint border protection agency. Up to today, broken manifesto promise. Important at that meeting, the government agreed with us when we said that the Joint Select Committee of the Parliament on National Security should not be chaired by a government minister. It is being chaired by I.A.N. We said it should not be chaired by a government minister, but by an independent senator. The government agreed with us, That's since 2016. Up to today, Hines remains as the minister in charge of the national security. No wonder why crime is where it is. 3 hapless ministers of national security and a hapless minister, Hines, in charge of the JSC in Parliament. I met again with the Prime Minister a year after that. He agreed to provide updated answers to the questions. We met again in January. I wrote to him, urging him for us to meet and so on. Well, that guy don't really want to meet me. It's not I want to meet him. But I felt in the best interest of Trinidad and Tobago, let's meet. He took my letter and he flung it and he tell Faris answer the letter. So they wrote me back. I didn't take offense at that because, again, your interest is more important than mine and my pride. Your interest is greater. I said, look, let's get together and pass this anti-gang law. So he gave Faris the answer. We had back and forth. We went to Parliament. We supported it. So where is the anti-gang legislation today? When we didn't support it the first time because it was in breach and violations of serious rights, they say blood on the UNC hands. Well, whose hands? Whose hands? Whose hands? Is that blood on now when murders are 145 today? Where is the blood coming from? Our sons and daughters bleeding. And where are you? What are your plans? You've kept none of yours. This PNM led by Rowley. I give you these details, to show you, as the UNC, we were prepared to work with this government. But you see all of that? Done. That finished. It finished. I give up. I give up. We will come to you, the people. We will work hand in hand with you. We will march with you. We will take to the streets. We will take to the courts to fight this wicked, incompetent government. That is where we have to go because they will not meet. They will not greet. They will not talk. Their whole manner of governing is one of a total dictatorship. It is their way or the no way. Their way or the highway. Well, we will not live like that. This is a democratic country, and we will not live like that. And so tonight I want to share something else with you. Because I told you we will fight them in the Parliament. We will fight them outside the Parliament, in the streets, on the corners. We will fight them when we have to in the courthouse as well. And I want to share this with you tonight. You remember local government, huh? Do you remember local government reform? Since 2003, PNM promising local government reform. Okay? Well, we still don't have it. When they had the last local government election, the entire platform was local government reform. Well, they still haven't done it. But today, not only have they done bad or worse, I was trying to say worse than the Manning PNM when they didn't bring the local reform, when Mr. Manning and his government 3 times postponed local government elections, remember? So what this Keith Rowley government is now doing with local government is this. 2 seats are vacant. Local government seats are vacant. One in Barataria is vacant for 8 months now. 8 months, And the one in Belmont East, vacant. Vacant. Because, God rest their souls, the councillors passed away. And this Rowley government, in subversion of the democracy, in subversion of the rule of law, in subversion of the constitution, have refused to call the local government elections for those 2 vacancies. Why? I am not afraid, win, lose or draw, bring it on. Bring on the elections. It is the right of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So if they will not follow the law, we will go to the court to have them follow the law. So today I send them 2 pre-action protocols letters. 2 letters. I act on behalf of, to the Attorney General, I act on behalf of 2 constituents of the Barataria district, the electoral district. They have been without a councillor for the past 8 months. And according to the law, I will not read all the provisions of law, but hello, it's an 11-page letter. So rest assured, all the law is in this letter. All the law is in this. And we are seeking that within 7 days they must take action to have the president issue a writ of election for the Barataria seat and for the Belmont East seat. I'm saying to you, I'm not afraid, win, lose or draw, you must follow the law. Win, lose or draw, follow the law. They have failed to follow the law of Trinidad and Tobago. And so we are seeking for them a declaration, this is what we will go to court for, a declaration that the failure, which is a continuing failure of the cabinet, of the government of Trinidad and Tobago, acting, the power of the cabinet, rather the minister of the cabinet itself, their failure to inform the office of the president that the seat of the council for Barataria has been vacant and that the seat for the council for Belmont East has fallen vacant. And they have not done that within a reasonable time, and therefore that is illegal, unlawful, and unreasonable. Further, we are calling upon them to act upon this within 7 days, failing which, guess what? We will go to the Supreme Court of Trinidad and Tobago to enforce the rights of the constituents of Barataria and of Belmont East. So whilst they're playing, romping and roaming and recycling and cycling failed politicians, we will follow the law. And we will go to court to have the law enforced in Trinidad and Tobago. As I close tonight, I just want to remind you of some of the things that we promised you that we will do, how we will help to move Trinidad and Tobago forward. I don't think we can wait for our fortunes to improve from the oil and energy sector. We must take action now to diversify our country. We will continue to focus on key areas for development, including ICT, tourism, maritime industries, creative industries, and alternative renewable energy. You will recall that we identified growth poles in Southwest, Central Port of Spain, North Coast, East Tobago, Southeast, East, Southeast, here with Moruga, Rio, Mayaro, Sandy Grande, and so on. And we identified these growth poles as economic zones so we could bring in different clusters of investments suited to the area. So for you here in Moruga Tableland, what does this mean for you? It means that this cluster we will create will be specific to the needs here and the benefits for the people of Moruga to create jobs for the people of Moruga. And when I say Moruga, I'm talking Moruga Tableland, this constituency. We will intensify diversification to grow the economy outside the energy sector, and so to have a positive effect on foreign exchange earnings to create good quality jobs. We will focus on infrastructure to facilitate greater use of technology, to deepen the process of building a knowledge economy, and to ensure our people are prepared for the fourth industrial revolution. For 2 years, I've been speaking of the fourth industrial revolution, which I'm saying is the only way, that is the only, or the main avenue to take our country forward, to create the jobs that you need, your families need. And you know, now I see they're advertising a conference at one of the hotels in Port of Spain about, guess what? The fourth industrial revolution. The fourth industrial. I look forward to the conference. It is not the government, it's private sector people who are bright enough to understand that this is the way for us to go. And so we will take steps. We will take further steps into getting the digital global economy. We started it with the laptops. And listen, when you put us back in office, I will give back the children their laptops in the schools. There are several others. That fourth industrial revolution and the IT is a strategy which thrives not just on the online transactions, but it has to do with innovations in new concepts, something called the Internet of Things, something artificial intelligence, 3D printing. The last time I spoke in a meeting up on the corridor, I talked about you can go up online, you can find a product, and you can stay home and have the right printer, and you could print it out. Then I talked about you could have the robotics. And I say you'll be standing here and you just press a button and things will happen. You know, when I left that meeting, I went to the home, the after event for refreshments. They showed me a machine stand up in the corner somewhere. You know, they say, They say, leader, that is what you were talking about. That is a remote control vacuum cleaner. Can you believe it? So it's here already, artificial intelligence. It means that the jobs some of you may now have will become extinct. And therefore you have to be trained for the jobs of tomorrow. So whereas before you would have had someone doing the physical job of something, in the day to come in this new global age, the digital age, they don't want a man or a woman doing it. It's a robot. Jobs in factories, the robots, more and more robots will be doing those. We have to create the jobs. We have to train you for the jobs because some of the jobs of today will not exist tomorrow. And that is why I totally condemn this government. As Carleen told you about education and importance, I condemn them for the closing down of the gate, the NIC, the NESC, the YTEP, all these programs we had for training our people, they have shut down those. And where is the money going? Diego Martin Sports Complex. Where is it going? Briar Ladder Stadium. So they're spending how much thousands or millions to open it. Nothing happening there, you know. Shut down. Shut down. Big Bram. Big fancy opening. Money spent. Drinks flow. And what's going on there? Nothing. Not being used at all. Paying money for romping. Romas. Paying money for paintings. Sookoo on the seas. Paying money for everything else. Except the money to train the young people of our country for the jobs of tomorrow. They are so stuck on the past. There is no hope. There is no hope. I know people were prepared to give the PNM the benefit of the doubt. Give them a chance. Your chances have run out. You have failed, and you have failed miserably, Dr. Rowley. The UNC team is ready. We have a vision. We have a mission. And together we must work to move our country forward. Your party, the UNC and our loyal supporters, you continue to be subjected to worst kinds of attacks. But do not get distracted and never fear because Kamla is here. Do not fear. The UNC is here. You see, they want to get us faint, weak-hearted, to pack up and hide home. We never do that. We are strong, as I say. We will never, ever, ever give up. They do not know what it means to be a member and supporter of a great party like ours. We were born out of struggle for equal rights and justice for all. We understand that performance beats old talk every time. We know that if you work hard for what you believe in, success will come. Some people never understand how. Even in opposition, we can hold meetings anywhere and everywhere in this country. And our meetings bigger and brighter than a meeting in the Prime Minister's own constituency. And you know why we can do this is because they cannot take our pride away. They cannot take our pride away. It is because of the proud history of our great party that each of us commits daily. We heard our speakers tonight committing daily to do best that they can to take Maruga Tableland back into government, to take you back into government. And they could say the worst things about me. I went to school just like them. But some didn't. But I went to school like many of us. And I always learn, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. So they have said everything in the world about me. I think all of us here. And what they didn't say, they make up and say. And we are alive and we are strong and we will continue to fight for justice and equality. We will never back down. You have shown that you're ready to work to help your fellow Trinbagonians. You have shown that you're ready to do what you can to build our country into a better place. Our country is stronger together. Our country is better when we work together. Do not let those who would divide us, do not let them do it, and do not let them distract you. Do not, when you see the lies, I think Jillian put it, this is now, the Rowley government is now a government of sex, lies, and fairy tales. That's where they've reached. Do not get distracted. Do not ever fear. Do not let those who want to divide us. My friends, according to Mr. Manning, if you remember, facts are stubborn things. They are very hard to go away. I am committed, and I remain committed to our party's original vision, always to create a better future for all our citizens, and especially for whom? For our children. I told you last time what matters most. What matters most are our children. What matters most is a future for our children. And I'm telling you that was my commitment and my focus for the years I have served in public office. And that remains my commitment, because the children are our future. The children are our future. Treat them well. Treat them well. And this government has shown they have no care for women, no care for the vulnerable, but above all, they have no care for the children of Trinidad and Tobago. So let us come together, and I ask you tonight, are you ready to move with us? Are you ready to return your party to government? Are you ready for us to move forward with a plan to rescue TNT from this uncaring government? The UNC will embrace the challenges that lie ahead, because we are people-focused. We look for people-centered development. That is why when we were there, what we looked at, schools and hospitals and roads and bridges and jobs, those are the things that affect you right in your heart and in your pockets. Those are the things that affect you. Those are the things that help you. Schools and hospitals, roads and bridges connect people. Infrastructure brings jobs, brings up bills. In the places where we built all those roads, land prices have gone up, businesses have gone up. Sad to say, since Rowley came into government, those businesses are closing down. Closing down. Let us work together to make Trinidad and Tobago a greater, better place. Let us return our nation to greatness. So thank you very much. I am UNC, and I am very proud. Are you UNC? Are you proud? I keep reminding you, we don't need guns. We don't need anything else. All we need is this. Raise your hand with me. With this finger, you can put a government in power, and you can move a government out of power. Let us ready our party to vote them out. The most incompetent government, the most incompetent prime minister, we must vote them out of office. But before we can get that vote, before we can get that opportunity, we must make a rising, a great uprising in this country to exercise our civil rights, to demand that they call the election now. I join with Jerlin and the others. I join with them to say the time has come and the time is now. This is the time for us to stand together and to march together for justice, for equality in Trinidad and Tobago. As I close, I want you to look at your screens, because I want to thank the hard-working chairman, councillors, the constituency executive, and the activists of Moruga Tableland for the tremendous job they're doing, together with the coordinator, Randy Ramadharsingh, and coordinator, Dr. Colleen. I want to thank all of you. I want you to see yourself on screen, the great work you've been doing. May God bless you, and I thank you all very much.
Brothers and sisters, I ask you to hold on just for a few minutes. The pleasure is mine. Usually I bring the pepper, but tonight I bring you the sugar. It is a very special evening, and for the third time, we have the opportunity, the third time in a row, to celebrate with our political leader her birthday. She will celebrate her birthday in just a few days, but we thought, what greater opportunity than for the family of the United National Congress
should show the love and appreciation for the best political leader and prime minister this country has ever seen. So, political leader, on behalf of our great party, all our supporters assembled here tonight, we call on Brian Mohan to lead us in wishing you through song a very, very happy birthday and God's richest blessings. As we know, as night follows day, the sun will rise again and you will usher us back into the annals of government. Thank you.
Let's join together and sing. बार बार दिन ये आए, बार बार दिल ये गाए, बार बार दिन ये आए, बार बार दिल ये गाए, तुझे हजारों साल है मेरी है आरज़ू. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to Kamla, happy birthday to you. बेकरार हो के दामन थाम लूं मैं किसका, क्या मिसाल रूह है तेरी नाम लूं मैं किसका. नहीं नहीं ऐसा हंसी कोई नहीं है जिस पे ये नजर बिक जाए, बेमिसाल जो कहलाए, तुझे ये हजारों साल है मेरी है आरज़ू. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to our Kamla, happy birthday to you. DJ. One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart, give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. With Kamla as our leader, it will be alright. Let them all pass all their dirty remarks. There is one question I'd really love to ask. Is there a place for the hopeless sinners who has hurt all mankind just to save his own beliefs? One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart, and I will feel alright. With Kamla as our leader, it will be alright. Let's get together to fight this holy Armageddon. So when Kamla comes, there will be no doom.